Imagine an organization where the word father means more than blood, where betrayal is punished not just by death, but by a ritual that breaks a man forever. Where tattoos on the body are not art, but a lifelong oath. Where a code of honor is not a pretty phrase from movies, but a real law that sets them apart from ordinary thugs. This is the Yakuza. Not just Japanese mafia, it's a parallel society with its own laws, rituals, and philosophy. And at the top stand them. The Oyabun, the bosses, the true fathers. Today we're uncovering their untold code, the things rarely spoken about even inside the families themselves. From ancient roots to 2025 to 2026, when the largest syndicate, Yamaguchi-gumi, still holds its ceremonies under close police watch. If you're ready to peer into the shadows of Japan's underworld, stay tuned. Subscribe, hit the bell ahead or 25 minutes of secrets, blood, and honor. Let's go. The history of the Yakuza doesn't start with guns and automatics, but with two very different groups from the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. First, Tokiya. Wandering peddlers selling everything from medicines to amulets. They protected their markets from competitors and thieves, forming the first families for mutual aid. Second, Bakuto. Professional gamblers with dice and cards. They lived on the edge of the law, often becoming loan sharks and mercenaries. It's from them that the tradition of finger-cutting, yubatsum, came as punishment for losses or debts. These two groups merged in the late 19th, early 20th century as Japan rapidly modernized. The first major bosses appeared one of the most legendary, Shimizu Jirocho, 1820 to 1893. Born Yamamoto Chaguro, he became the king of Shimizu port. He controlled gambling dens, protected fishermen and peasants from abuse, and helped after fires and floods. Dozens of films were made about him. For many Japanese, he remains a folk hero. But the truth is his empire was built on violence, extortion, and killing rivals. After World War II, the Yakuza experienced a real explosion. A destroyed country, black markets, hunger, perfect conditions. In the 1946-1950s, Yamaguchi-gumi under Kazuo Tauka turned from a local gang into a national superpower. By the 1980s, they had over 100,000 members. They controlled construction, ports, entertainment, even parts of politics. But even in that chaos, a code existed, Ninkyodu, the way of chivalry and humanity. It's what separated Yakuza from ordinary street gangs. Kenichi Shinoda, aka Shinobu Tsukasa, born 1943, current Kumicho, as of 2026. First non-Kansai native to lead Yamaguchi-gumi, since 2005. In the 1970s, he killed a rival with a katana, served 13 years. Released in 2011 after another term. Under him, the group survived the 2015 split. Kobe Yamaguchi-gumi formed, wars, harsh laws. In April 2025, top executives pledged to Hyogo police to end conflicts with splinter groups and never cause trouble again. On December 13, 2025, they held the traditional year-end Jaihajan ceremony at the Shimizu Eiko office in Shizuoka. Shinoda attended personally with second-in-command Teruaki Takeuchi and other leaders. Membership continues to decline, 3,300 active members plus 3,600 associates at end of 2024, per National Police Agency, but the structure holds. Let's meet the men who embodied, and sometimes broke, this code. Yoshio Kodama, 1911 to 1984, the Grey Cardinal of post-war Japan. During the war, he handled smuggling and espionage. After defeat, imprisoned as a Class A war criminal, but released after 2 years. Rumors of a deal with the CIA. Kodama unified fractured clans, funded right-wing politicians, influenced elections. His death in 1984 left a huge vacuum. Kazuo Tauka, 1913 to 1981, God among gods. Grew up in poverty, started as a street fighter. After the war, revived Yamaguchi-gumi and made it Japan's #1. Survived an assassination attempt in 1978, shot in the neck in a nightclub, organized revenge. The attacker was found and eliminated weeks later. Tauka died of a heart attack, but his era was the golden age of Yakuza. Irizumi, tattoos. Done by hand, over years, in unbearable pain. A full suit, neck to ankles, is an oath you can't hide at the bath or beach. Symbols: koi, willpower; dragon, power; tiger, courage; oni, demon protector. Yubatsum, cutting off a finger joint. For mistakes, betrayal, losses. Each joint is an admission of guilt and self-weakening to rely more on the family. In the 2020s, the code is changing or eroding. Harsh laws from 1992-2010s pushed Yakuza underground. Many break old rules, turn to drugs or target civilians because traditional schemes, construction, ports, became too risky. But some families still help faster than the Red Cross after earthquakes and tsunamis. The old tradition of protecting the weak lives on. Now the most interesting part, the untold code that even many members stay silent about. Ninkyo-do is not just honor, but a full philosophy: loyalty, respect, discipline, self-control, helping the weak. Many offices still hang rule lists on walls. Here are key points. They vary slightly by family: forbidden, drug trafficking, stealing from ordinary people, robbery, rape, any shameful crimes. One boss's explanation: if we blackmail you, you deserved it. We punish sins and restore social justice. Absolute obedience to Oyabun, father-son relationship. Don't touch good women. Avoid unnecessary contact with police. Keep your inner circle tight, don't talk too much. Rituals that bind the code: sakazuki, sake cup ceremony. Two people, Oyabun and Kobun, drink from one cup, becoming father and son. Sometimes salt and fish scales are added, symbols of purity and eternity. Yakuza in 2026 is no longer the 100,000-strong army of the 1980s. Membership is falling, police pressure is intense, youth aren't joining the family. But the code, rituals, and structures still exist. Shinobu Tsukasa and his people hold ceremonies, maintain the facade of honor. Are they heroes? Or just criminals in beautiful packaging? You decide. Comment below, do you believe Ninkyo-do is still alive? Who's your favorite historical boss? Like if the video hooked you, subscribe if you want more deep dives like this. See you in the shadows. Arigato.